A time of hot chocolatey mornings and toasty marshmallow evenings, and best of all, leaping into leaves. From Pooh's Grand Adventure, it's probably the only thing about Winnie the Pooh that I actually like. But I have to say, I'm really excited because for even here in the desert where life is pretty harsh and we don't have the big changing of the seasons that you might find in the Midwest or the Northeast, or even in the Northwest, I think they have some, but here we go from hot to windy to cold to windy and back to hot again. we have some mild temperatures, but they don't come very long and they don't last very long. But at this time of year, my daughter does the decorating she starts on September 1st because in her mind that is the first day of autumn. And I think it's because here in the desert we'll take anything we have, any excuse we have to say goodbye to summer. Summer comes very, very early, and we're done with it very, very early. But so she's, got her stringed pumpkins up around the doorways, and she has our little display in front of the house, and here in the living room there's one, and she even creates a swirl of leaves above one of the doorways. I'll have to show that sometime. But we really we get into fall in this family, and it's not just because it's a precursor to Christmas, but as you can see, as an author, I have to work on Christmas stuff early. So I have to be writing my Christmas novellas in the summer. And in the very, very first days of fall, I have to hurry and scurry to get them done. So that's what I've been doing this week. But one of the collections that is coming out, the Heart of Christmas anthology with the Mosaic collection, there are quite a few authors in this collection, including Sarah Davison, Brenda S. Anderson, Lisa Renee, Lorna Selstad, and me from the Mosaic. And we're each have our own novellas. Well, I'm doing The Heart of Noel, which is in my Bookstring series. I did Spines and Leaves for the last anthology with Mosaic, and it's all kind of a precursor to the series launch next fall. So we have a big fall theme going on here, but I decided that because I've got this Heart of Noel novel, and because I have a store in the town of Noel, Missouri, and yes, it's spelled Noel, but it's pronounced Noel. There's a bookstore in this town, in my mind. In reality, it's an ice cream shop now. It was once an insurance office, and originally the adorable little building was actually a gas station, which I didn't know until I started doing research. But in my book, the store owner has decided Noel is going to have its first ever bookstore, and he's determined to make this a success, and everything is against him, and it's kind of driving him crazy. But he decides he's just going to do it anyway, and he's working really hard, and Milton and Atticus, not Finch, show up and decide to help him, which is the premise of the entire Bookstring series, that Milton Coleridge, it goes around and he just kind of can't help himself trying to make these bookstores succeed. And one of the things he does is he tells Josh Hart that he has to start selling things like ornaments and other touristy things, something that someone can grab as a souvenir as well as books, because this is a tourist town, and you need to make sure that you offer what tourists are looking for. And so one of the things that they come up with are these Christmas ornaments. And so I bought these on Etsy, and I'll put a link to the store that I bought them from. I actually bought some for another book coming out, and I've decided to pair them with my little paperbacks. For people who are buying the paperback books, they'll get the ornament that Josh gives away. Well, one of the ornaments that Josh sells, not the one he gives away. I've got a different thing for that one. But so it's, I got to just sit and enjoy some candlelight. I actually had a candle going, and I had my audio mystery going, and I just got to work on these, and it was so much fun. Really, really enjoyed it. If you'll notice, there are sunflowers on the table, and there are chocolate chips in a bowl beside me, and those are actually in memory of a friend of mine. I was actually painting this on the day that I learned that she had gone home to Jesus. We knew it was coming. I wasn't prepared for it quite so quickly, and it hit me really hard. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. If you enjoy young adult fiction, and if you enjoy sci-fi and reimagining, her name is Dell Tunnicliff, and she had written a reimagining of The Wizard of Oz in space. The title of the book is No Space Like Home, and I have to say I've never cared for The Wizard of Oz, and I absolutely was enchanted by the book. It was wonderful, and so I highly recommend it. But Dell loved chocolate, and she used to joke about, okay, I don't think it was as much of a joke as she let on. I think she actually did it. But she used to talk about hiding in her pantry and eating chocolate chips when her children were just becoming ever present. And as an introvert, I totally understand that moment of I need to not people for a minute. And so in Dell's honor, I have flowers because she always enjoyed beauty. And I know roses, I think, were her favorite, if I recall correctly. But she also loved autumn, so I chose sunflowers because they fit with autumn, and to me, they fit with Dell. And so does this quote from George Eliot. It just kind of fits my feeling today. I was really struggling, and it says, "Is not this a true autumn day? Just the still melancholy that I love, that makes life and nature harmonize." And I don't know why I love it so much, but it just really seems to fit Dell to me. And I just, I had to just kind of take a moment to honor her influence on so many of us while I was working on these. It's time to write. So I like a nice hot cup of tea sometimes, and this one especially was extra good. It's from David's Teas, and I even tried to find it for you and to tell you which one it was. All I know is I think it's cherry tart or tart cherry or something like that, but it was delicious and just what I needed. But it's time to get back to work on my next book. I found a bunch of autumn quotes that I wanted to share, and I started with Pooh, but like I said, he's not really my favorite. There's this one, oh my goodness, I love this one so much, and you see the unknown as the the person who said or originally wrote a quote, and you're like, yeah, sure, it's unknown. Someone just didn't do their research. Well, I spent way too many hours trying to find who actually wrote this. And I truly believe it is unknown because I can't find it anywhere. And I've redone every word, tried using synonyms and everything in case someone had misquoted it, and I just can't find it. But listen to this. This is so beautiful. Autumn is the season to find contentment at home by paying attention to what we already have. I just love it so much. So yeah, I'm working on ornaments and writing novellas for Christmas and getting prepared for, just kind of hunkering down. The doors have been open at night when we haven't had smoke. I'll show you a picture of our sun later, but we've got a lot of smoke in the valley, but otherwise I can open the doors at night and really enjoy it. But it actually got so chilly tonight while I was working on this that I actually shut the doors because it's getting a bit nippy, which is cool. My dogs are looking at me going, where are our sweaters? And I'm like, and that brings me into this next quote that it fits so perfectly. It says, by Oscar Wilde, and that man, he had some of the neatest quotes ever, and it just blows my brains how brilliant he could be. But he said, "And all at once, summer collapsed into fall." And that's pretty much what happens here in the desert. You know, one minute we are baking, and the next minute I'm like, where's my sweater? That was just, that was wonderful. For a minute anyway. I want to leave off for a minute with this quote from Persuasion by Jane Austen, because this just fits autumn so beautifully. And as you can tell, I am just reveling in the autumnal vibe that's going around right now, both in my house and in my town. And you know, even online, you see it everywhere. Pumpkin spice has exploded, and I don't drink coffee, and so pumpkin spice does nothing for me. Give me a slice of pumpkin pie instead, you know. But okay, listen to this. Jane Austen and her brilliance. Her pleasure in the walk must arise from the exercise and the day, from the view of the last smiles of the year upon the tawny leaves and withered hedges, and from repeating to herself some few of the 1,000 poetical descriptions extant of autumn, that season of peculiar and inexhaustible influence on the mind of taste and tenderness, that season which has drawn from every poet worthy of being read some attempt at description or some lines of feeling. Yeah, that's autumn. Isn't that just autumn? This one is for the Christmas Lights collection. It's our 6th annual collection this year. I'm so excited. Can't believe we've been doing this for so long. This year we have J.C. Weaver back with us again. So it's Tony Shiloh and J.C. Weaver and Kathy Swanson and I. And this year we actually decided to do a theme, which I'm really, really excited about. And we couldn't have known when we chose back in April that doing the thing that we chose would mean so much at the time. But in April, we decided, you know, why don't we do something honoring the military, those that are serving, the veterans, you know, in some way bringing the military into the collection. And as I was just about to start writing on my book, The Stars of New Cheltenham, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, as I started to write on it, it was right when we lost our Marines and Navy corpsmen in Afghanistan. And so I was asking my readers for name ideas for the characters, and someone said, well, maybe you should use one of theirs. So I actually combined, in my recruit's name, I combined the first name and the last name of 2 of those Marines to honor the lives of these men and women who served and lost their lives in that horribleness. But so all of our books have something to do with the military. I know Kathy Swanson is doing the story of Tally. If you've read her Snow Angels or her Hope for the Holidays, well, Tally gets her story finally. So she's bringing in, you know, a female vet who had been homeless after everything and now is back. I'm so excited about reading Tally's story. It's her turn. And I know J.C. Weaver, I think she's doing Army, I think, or is it Marines? Army or Marines. She's doing one of the two. And I believe her person is in, or maybe it's Air Force. I don't know. J.C. Weaver's doing something, some branch. But I recall that she's doing someone who's in the band. And so he's a musician in the armed services. And so, I mean, I thought that was a really unique twist and really fun. And Tony Shiloh is doing someone who is a veteran, and I'm doing a Marine recruiter and what happens when his potential recruit sister finds out and is not happy. So we're going to write together tonight, and I'm just telling you what I'm doing as I'm typing, because I just recorded myself typing, and I'm just, obviously this is just a voiceover, but I just, wanted to let you know a bit about what I'm typing and what we're doing, and I've got to get this book done. So I'll sign off. There's the picture of the sun, and yeah, it's pretty bad. it's pretty bad out there, and I'll finish off with one last quote for you, and then it's time for us to say goodnight. I sit by the fire and think of all that I have seen, of meadow flowers and butterflies in summers that have been, of leaves and gossamer in autumns that were, with the morning mist and silver sun and wind upon my hair. And that one was J.R.R. Tolkien.